Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. In this series, I'll be showing you how to create games in Pygame. And Pygame is a Python framework used in creating 2D games. And they are just basic games just like the ones you can see on my screen with images or basic functions of Python and the rest. So I'm going to show you how to animate image, how to create this kind of frame that like the one you're seeing on my screen now, how to create the score and a lot of things that you can see on this video, and I would advise you watch this video without skipping anyone if you really want to know a lot about Pygame. And at the end of this series, I believe you should learn enough to that will help you to create any of the 2D games of your choice. I would recommend if you don't really know how to use the if you have not really coded in Python, or if you don't know how to use Python, you will have to like have a little knowledge of Python before you continue with this series. Thank you and happy coding with me. First, I'm going to import Pygame, and before you import Pygame, you have to install Pygame. And to do that, you go to your CMD or terminal and type pip pip install Pygame, and this will install Pygame for you. And if you want to know that if you have really installed Pygame, you can just come to your first editor here. I'll be using VS Code throughout this tutorial or this series, and type import Pygame. When you save this and run it, then you are going to get a message hello from the Pygame community. If you did not get this message, what it really means is that your Pygame is not really installed. So you have to like check it and reinstall it again. And if it did not work, you can try pip3 install Pygame, or you can try any of the recommendations you can see online to fix your Pygame or how to install Pygame. Then once that is done, I'm going to initiate Pygame and its components using pygame dot init, and this will help me activate all the properties of Pygame that I'll be using in this my code. And after that, I'm going to define the surface where I'll be putting everything inside, which I'm going to call screen, and I'm going to set it to pygame dot display dot set mode, and I'm going to specify the width of the screen, which I want the width to be 600, and I'm going to specify the height, which is going to be 400. So with this, I'm going to get, when I run my code now, I'm going to get a flash of the screen and it will go back. And what this, why it's doing like this is Python will run this code from the top to down. It's going to import Pygame and then initiate the Pygame and then create this environment for us. But since it does not see any other code and there's no loop to like keep it running, Pygame will go back. So what we are going to do now is we are going to create a loop that even when Pygame is done installing even when Pygame is done running all the codes in our test editor, it's still going to be looping over them. And to do that, I'm going to say run is equal to true is true, and while run, so this will like if I run my code now, this will keep my game running infinitely. So after Pygame is done running all the code, it will go back just like while loop in Python, and it will keep running and running and running, and there will be nothing to stop it until I shut down my system or I close my test editor. So we have to like set something to stop it so that it will not just run infinitely. And we are going to use events to stop it. So we can say for event in Pygame event dot get. So this is going to check if there's any event for us, and if there's any event for us, then it's going to like execute the event when a particular action happen, and we are going to define the action now. So we say if event dot type is equal to Pygame dot quit. So we are saying that if the event is equal to quit, Pygame quits the program for us, but it will not quit it now until we say if event is equal to quit, then our run is not going to be true anymore. We want it to be false at this point because we don't want the game to be running forever. So once we click on quit, then it will stop this program from running. An event is just like an action in Pygame, And to every action, there's always a reaction. So whenever an action happens, there's the reaction. So the action here is this quit, and when this quit action happens, the reaction is to turn our or to exit our game. And to do that, finally, we have to deactivate all the Python components we initiated earlier using pygame.quit. And when we save our code now and run this, then you see that we'll have a screen and it will not go back again. The screen will just be there and we can put whatever we want to put inside. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set to give a game a name, and to do that in Pygame we'll say pygame.display.set caption, and then we'll name it runner man. You can name yours whatever you feel like, and this will be what we'll see. Let me save my code first. So when we save this now, on the code, we are going to see runner man instead of Python game. We are saying runner man here. So the next thing I want to do now is I want to add a content. I want to add a shape. I want to draw a shape in my environment. And to do that, I'll just say pygame.draw.rect. You can draw other shapes in your environment. You can draw circle, you can draw polygon, but I prefer drawing rectangle for now. So I'm going to define the surface where I want to. Literally everything in Pygame is a surface. So our screen there is a surface, and I have to like tell Pygame the surface where I want to put this inside, which is the screen. And then I'm going to define the color. I want the rectangle to be or square. I'm going to say red, and in my parentheses I will specify the position, which is here. I'm going to this place. I think this is the X position, and then this is the Y position, and then here we'll specify the width of the rectangle, and then the height. So just like the way I defined it like this, I can decide to like make it in a number, put 0 here and put 0 here, or I can decide to like create a value for all of them so that I won't just be using real numbers like this for them. But since we are still trying out some things, well, let me just do it once and for all. I'm going to say X and then Y. Then I'm going to go up there and define our X, which I'm going to say S is equal to 0 now, and then Y is equal to 0 now, and our width, that is the width of the rectangle, is going to be equal to, let's say, 40, and the height is going to be equal, so I want it to be like a square, 42. When I save this now, the shape will be there, but we will not see the shape on our screen. So for us to see the shape on our screen, we have to update our screen, and to do that we'll say pygame.display.update, and then this will update the screen to enable us to see what we just drew, the rectangle. When I clear my screen now, and then you see a red square on our screen there in position 0, 0. And one thing about this position is the more you increase the position, the more the rectangle shifts either towards the right or towards down. So let's say, for example, now I change this from 0, 0 to like, or let's say I change the S to like 60 now. Save this, and then you see that our X has been moved. S is the width has been moved to position 60. So likewise for the Y, if I set the Y to 60, it's going to move this place down to position 60. So this is how we work with this place. Is this particular place is 0, 0, and then this place is just like our 600, 400, the edge here. So that's how the screen works. The more you increase them, the more it moves, or the more you reduce them, the more it goes back. So after that, I want to like make the rectangle to move each time I press a key. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to say keys is going to be equal to pygame dot key dot get pressed. And what this will do is each time I press any key on the keyboard, it's going to get the particular key that I press. And if the particular key matches with any of the key I want it to like perform an action on, then it will work. Let's say, for example, now I say this is going to check if I pressed any key. So that's just what it's going to do. Then if I say if keys Then I'm going to pick, this is just like a dictionary. So out of the dictionary, I'm going to pick one particular key from it. I'm going to say pygame dot k right, and then this is for right. So if the key I pressed is equal to this, then I'm going to specify the action I want pygame to take here, which I'm going to say pygame get my x, and then each time I press this key, move my s 5, add 5 to my s. Each time I press this key, add 5 to my s. So that's what I'm doing here. So once I save this code and run it now, then you see that each time I press the right arrow key, you see that it's going to move, but it's moving very fast. So I have to like set a timer for it. I have to define a time to like slow it down. And to do that, I have to go under my while loop and say something like pygame dot time dot delay. And what this will do is it will make it not to like run that fast. It's going to run by this time. So after let's say 1 second, it will run, and that's how it will be running. So not just be running once. So once I press the key now, you see it will move, it will move, it will move, it will move, and it will not be moving as fast as it was moving before. So after we have done this, we have to do this for right, left, up, and down in order to move our key in all of the direction we want to move. I'm going to do for left now. We don't need this. We only need this once for the first place, which is this place, and after that we don't need it anymore. So I'm going to change this to left, and make sure it is in capital letter from the K to this right. Everything has to be in capital letter. I'm going to say left. If it's not in the capital letter, it's going to give you error. Likewise, this, remember our variable is set in lowercase. Make sure it's in lowercase, and this is in uppercase. Make sure it's in uppercase because Python is case sensitive. Then I'm going to change this from plus to minus. So what this does is, let's say for example our position is in this place that my cursor is. So once we press the right, it will be adding 5, adding 5, adding 5. So if we subtract from it, it will be reducing. You know, addition is just the opposite of subtraction. So the more we subtract, it will be going back. So that's what it's going to do here. And I'm going to do the same thing for the up and down. So for the up and down here, I'm going to change this to down, and I'm going to change this. Since we are talking of we are working on the up and down, the x is our x-axis, the y is for our y-axis. So I have to change this from x to y, which is for our y-axis, and the y has to be in small letter, just like what you see there. And then when we are moving down, we are adding to it. Remember the position of our shape is at the top. So once we are moving down, we have to be adding, so that it will be coming down, coming down, coming down. And when we are moving up, it will be subtracting. So that's how it works. So I have to like change this from subtraction to addition for it to move down, and I have to do the same for up. I'm going to do this for up key. I'm going to change this to y, which is a small letter. And I believe this is all. I need to move my key, but we're still going to have one more problem. Let's say if I try to like move my key now, see that I can move it in up and down, but it's as if it's drawing. It's not really moving, but it's drawing those its movement. The movement is not a kind of clean. So I'm going to show you how we are going to fix this. But why it's doing like this is because our our screen surface is empty, and we have not added any color to it. The screen surface we defined there is empty. So we have to like add a color to it or fill it with a color, so that each time we move, the color will be covering up our steps. So to do that, I'm going to say screen dot fill, also in small letter fill, and then it must not be in any particular case, but I prefer coding in small letter. And then you can use, one thing about color in Pygame is that you can use any color code of your choice, or you can just use string and specify the color like this. And then I can say black. So it's going to fill the screen with black color, so that once I move, the black will be covering the red and you'll not be able to see the red. So once I save this now and run my code, then you see that I'll be moving successfully. You can see now that I can move to any direction of my choice, without it following me or without drawing any of the position. So I believe if you enjoy this video, make sure you watch the rest of the video I'm going to put out in this series. For the sound and the image I used in this tutorial, I'll be dropping the link in the description below so you can visit the link and download the resources from there. And shout out to Tech with him. I got all the resources from him.